Girl, don't.
This is us again, y'all. We are coming to y'all live. We just had a post conversation after that. The messenger spoke to us this afternoon, this evening. Shannon Little. We don't look, Be Live is working now. See, the devil is a liar because
Yes,
he told us that we weren't gonna go live on Be Live earlier. We did a quick switch over to Facebook Live and we did the show. But this the after show. This the post show. Come on in here and drop them questions down. Drop them questions down for us.
Let me get my lion together.
I'm telling y'all, she is the messenger. She about to bring it to y'all. I hope y'all ready, world. I hope y'all ready. She bringing it. She got the messages that don't nobody want to talk about, but she finna talk about them in her book. All the books. Soon she gonna have a library. Joyful Soul Inc. library.
I can't stand you.
Look, we live, y'all. This is the post interview, and we are just in here, just chopping it up, just talking about life. You know, this is what happens when you get a great conversation and you get to go, you know, talk about it after the interview. Now we're having a conversation like we was having earlier. But I love you, sis. I love you, and you're doing something wonderful. You are doing something wonderful.
I love you too. I love you too. It's truly amazing to be the inaugural speaker or interviewer on your show. Being able to share my life, so that it helps someone else is a powerful thing for me. I don't know if everybody has the oomph to be able to go through life and actually share their story, but I am willing to make it to a point to make sure that they understand exactly what I'm going through so that they can understand how to heal from it and understand that they have resources around them, that you don't have to truly, be in in a place of dismay because of what you've put yourself through, what you've allowed yourself to go through, and just the circumstances the circumstances and the residuals of the card that you've been dealt. So understanding that you have, people or a team of people who are willing to help you through it, makes a world of difference. It really does.
Mm-hmm. Look, when you saw Daniel 8:16, what did you think about that scripture?
So when I saw the scripture, I was like, okay. My mama told me, she was like, okay, you have a message that no one wants to talk about, but everybody wants to hear.
That's right.
She said, nobody wants to talk about HIV. Nobody wants to talk about alcoholism. Nobody wants to talk about being molested. Nobody wants to talk about familiar spirits consuming their lives. Nobody wants to talk about being delivered. But everybody needs to hear it, and they want to hear it, but they don't know how to tell people that they want to hear it. So you make it plain so that everybody understands exactly what you're trying to get them to understand.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, in doing that, you open the door to be a healer. You open the door to being a messenger. You open the door to giving people the message that they need in order to survive, the message that they need in order to be a better them, the message that they need in order to be a more clear or them and walk in their purpose and in their path.
Yeah. Sis, you hit the nail on the coffin, though, because there's a lot of people who talk about issues that have plagued our past, generational curses that are on our family. Sexual abuse, alcoholism, all those things that you named were very prevalent back in the day. And they, guess what? Some families are still battling that right now. Don't tell nobody.
Don't tell nobody. Mm-hmm. Don't tell nobody. You're going to put them in jail, making you feel like the victim, making you feel like, feeling guilty as if you did something wrong, not understanding that you're the victim and that you're the person that needs to be catered to. You're the person that needs to be understood. You're the person that, doesn't need to be handed the serenity prayer and to go about their business. I mean, and that's what, that's one of the things that I encountered, being sexually assaulted, in my next book called, He Touched Me. Being, there and having, the serenity prayer given to you and saying, repeat this right here and you'll get through it.
Mm-hmm. I cannot tell you enough how many women I talk to, by being in the military, that have experienced sexual trauma in the military, sexual abuse and things of that nature, and they still ain't told nobody.
Hmm.
They are
And it happens.
carrying it around, and it's making them mean and secluded and irritated. And now we just putting a thing on it, PTSD, because I'm not gonna tell nobody. I'm gonna hold on to it, and it's gonna eat me on the inside. We have to learn how to release. And a lot of people be like, well, I don't want to tell nobody. That's my personal business. But guess what? You carrying that cross around, and it's getting heavier and heavier year by year. It's getting heavier and heavier. Now you got a hunchback because you're carrying all that stress on your back.
Hmm.
You know, you
And
got
people don't understand it's not their cross to bear. It's not their cross to bear alone. I
no,
mean, they may go through it and they may get to a place to where, it holds them down. But what they need to understand is not their cross to bear alone. And when you start to put that weight on yourself and you start to implement that into your soul, then you start to truly lose who you are and your purpose that God has for your life. He didn't mean for you to hold on to this right here. He didn't mean for you to understand that. He didn't mean for you to get to a place to where you were full of, anger, and you didn't want nobody to let nobody in, and you didn't want to, put them in a place to where you had to be vulnerable to them. He didn't mean for you to be that type of person. What he meant for is for you to learn from this right here, because you're going to help and you're going to change somebody's life.
that's right.
Understand that you're not in this alone, because if you went through it or if you're going through it, there's almost at least 10,000 other people in your direct surrounding that's going through it as well. Having been, sexually assaulted in the military, having gone through that sexual harassment, having been told, unless you do this, you're not going to get this, or unless you go this right here, you're not going to get your orders in time. We're going to make, having gone through those different things, and seeing firsthand exactly the impact that it has on your mental state, it puts you in a place of, okay, I can't deal with this right here. I can't deal with, not conforming to what they want me to do. So what I'm going to do is do exactly what they want me to do. I'm going to hold it all in. I'm never going to go to mental health to deal with it, because somebody's going to think something wrong with me. They're going to put me on a mental eval. Then I'm going to be restricted from what I can and cannot do. And it haunts you for the rest of your career.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And you know what? I got to tell you this. I was carrying around the fact that I lost two sets of twins. I was carrying that around. Yes, I grieved. I cremated my children and all of that. But I went to mental health maybe, I want to say like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I was talking to the doctor, and she was like, wait a minute, you've been carrying that all this time? And I'm like, yeah. She said, you got PTSD. And I'm like, how did I get PTSD from that? And then, she took me through the criteria and the symptoms and all of that. And, me, a EA in the military, was carrying that and didn't realize that that's a form of PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. It doesn't always have to, equate to being in the war, going overseas, fighting in the war. It could be anything traumatic that has happened to you in your life, and you're dealing with it after the fact. That's post-event. So I was like, oh my God. So she's like, no, I'm getting ready to do a PTSD evaluation on you, because you need to go through that. You need to figure it out and iron it all out, and just lay it all out and say, this is this is that, this is what I'm going to do about it, and move on. A lot of us are afraid to do that, because guess what? We don't want to go back and face those feelings. We don't want to face those fears. The unknown, just bury it. We've been told, just shut up and move on.
And that's what we're told as, when you get to a place as women, that's what you're often told. Just shut up, move on, and kind of get over it. But you have to understand that in shutting up, in moving on, in getting over it, quote unquote, there's still a microscopic view as to the hell that you've been through, or the dysfunction within you, because you're going to mimic exactly what you feel, whether you know it or not. You're going to have some type of issues when it comes down to trusting people. You're going to have some type of issues when it comes down to being sexually involved because you've lost a set of twins and you don't want to you ruin the risk of that happening again. You're going to be standoffish when it comes down to saying something to a commander because you don't want to be sexually advanced. So you're gonna mimic, those behaviors, whether you get over it, whether you keep it moving, and you use the societal stigmas to influence exactly how you cope with it. You're going to still mimic those behaviors. You're still going to go through that whole cycle of not understanding you, not understanding exactly what you're dealing with, not understanding the magnitude of what you carry. Because at the end of the day, you have to understand that in order to be whole for anyone else, we have to be whole for ourselves.
Yes, that's knowing who we are.
Mm-hmm. And in writing these books, that's part of me, exposing my truth, exposing all the things that I've done, all the things that I've been through, everything that, that the devil thought that he could control. The devil thought that he could take, and give to somebody else so that they could use it against me. It's my way of using it for my good. It's my way of using it for the good of others. It's my way of using it for the glory of God to let you know that, hey, he got me through it. He can get you through it.
And I can't tell you enough, like these videos that we do, I know I'm gonna probably get some inboxes of ladies reaching out saying, hey sis, that touched me. Hey, I don't know if you had that happen to you, but there's people, in the background that don't want to be in the foreground, and they say, sis, I did not know that touched you too, or that happened to you too. That happened to me. And then we start having dialogue, and it helps release some of the stress off of that person. And I'm glad that we are bringing awareness to what's going on, because my whole aim is to be a servant leader, and that's to help other people bring awareness to what's going on.
That's very important. And one of the things that I've seen lately is not only should you bring awareness, but you should also offer a avenue of healing. That's because right. when you bring awareness, some people bring awareness to where they're wearing it like a badge of honor. Like they're wearing it like a badge instead of understanding that they can still heal from it. So you wear depression like a badge. You say, oh, I'm just depressed. No. How are we going to heal from you being depressed? Granted, I get it. The initial diagnosis and the self-realization of you being a depressed person or you being in a depressed spirit, understand that that's still real. But how are you as a person going to get out of that? How are you going to help yourself? How are your people around you going to help you to actually overcome that, instead of saying, oh, sis, call me if you need me? No, honey, I'm coming over to get you, because we're going to get out this house.
Because 9 times out of 10, you ain't going to answer your phone if you're in a depressive state. I shut my phone off. I don't want to talk to nobody. Why am I going to answer my phone and I'm depressed? Wallowing in my pity and my sorrow. I'm not answering my phone. I'm turning my phone off. That's when you got to go over to your sister's house, knock on that door.
Yes.
You going to open the door up.
Yes.
We're going to get some cupcakes. Yes. Let's go out to eat.
Something. Yes.
We got to be aggressive about helping one another.
Yes. And if we're not aggressive with helping one another, we're not going to be aggressive with helping ourselves. We're not going to go through the actual motions that it takes in order for us to actually overcome whatever mental illness, whatever stigma, whatever societal wrongings that we are, dealing with when it comes down to adultery, molestation, anything that we're dealing with, pornography that we're addicted to in our own lives, whatever we're dealing with, we have to get to a point of actually healing from that before we can sit here and say, okay, I want to help somebody else. No, we have to deal with ourselves. If we can't deal with ourselves, we can't be no good for nobody else. It's not going to happen.
The biggest thing is first acknowledging, and if you're not willing to acknowledge it, and I tell people, you can go look yourself in the mirror and just acknowledge it to yourself. I'm addicted to downloads. Whatever it is. I'm addicted to text. Whatever you're addicted to, look yourself in the mirror and say that. You're confessing it to yourself and to God first and foremost. And then you'll be able to start your healing journey. Star is doing another anthology, The Healing Journey. And there's
Stop it, really? That's pretty awesome. Shut your mouth. That's what's up. How many stories does she have already?
she got 8 authors.
8.
I think she got 8
Wow,
authors.
that's
I think
good.
she's trying
That's
to
good.
do 10 or 11, but yeah, that's probably gonna be a powerful anthology as
It
well.
is. It is.
I'm pumped up and I'm excited about where God is taking me. And let me tell you something. I didn't sign up for this. This
This fell in my lap.
God led me literally.
I ain't signed up for this. This just fell in my lap.
It did literally. And I got to tell y'all,
it's the same way with me. It's the same way with me. I was like, I didn't, it was no step-by-step plan to becoming an author. It was I need to sleep. I need to write this all down. I'm tired of men looking at me like I'm crazy when I tell them my husband had HIV. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to write it all out and I'm just going to post it on Facebook.
They looking at you like, do she got HIV?
Look, so I wrote a blog. I started out with a blog. I did. I started out with a blog on WordPress. I started out with a blog and I just threw my blog out there and I was just like, whatever, Then somebody was like, is there more? Like, is there some more? I said, well, you need to make a book out of this. And I was like, I ain't never thought about it like that, but
right.
like, well, I got some more. And I started writing and somebody said, this thing is too long for a blog. They said, this needs to be put into a book.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand what to write. I couldn't sleep. So I reached out to an author. Her name is Cinquenta Cox Smith. You'll see me post about her. You'll see me brag on her and everything else. I reached out to her and I was like, I want to write, but I don't know how. And that same night, 3:00 in the morning, she said, just start out a little bit at a time. Honey, I started out writing a little bit at a time and it turned into a book. Seriously. 8,000 words. I'm sitting here like,
that's what I got.
I was like, okay. So you're talking about, and I never went to sleep. I went through my day and I was okay. I had actually gotten mental rest through writing my story out and being able to mentally rest in the mental, demanding job that I'm in, working for the Department of Veteran Affairs. One of the things that, I was able to do is still, I was able to release my mind from the stress that it was going through. I was able to heal from whatever I had bottled down, and I was able to overcome that while pouring out my whole truth out there on the open so that people can say, okay, am I still willing? I'm like, you know what? Are you still willing to deal with me after the fact? Because listen, I done poured it all out there. I don't care what you do with it.
Hey, eventually, girl, we're going to need an author's retreat. We're going to have
yes.
to do special and just...
And no right. No right.
We're going to come up with a short novel in 24 hours. This is what we came up with at our author's retreat and put it in a little book.
Let me tell you, you can truly write a book in 24 hours.
Yes.
Anybody who has anybody on this replay or coming back to look at this right here, I tell you, no world lie, you can truly write a book in 24 hours, cover and all. You can write a book in 24 hours. There are so many resources out there that you can use in order to write a book. One of my most famous, I'm gonna, run this in the ground, is how to self-publish in under $100 by Cinquenta Cox Smith. By Cinquenta Cox Smith is www.cinquentacoxsmith.com. And okay, let me put that down in the comments, child, if I can find it, child. This, high tech stuff you got going on around here, I ain't used to all this.
Bottom left hand corner, you see that little.
Okay, I see it now. So yeah.
Girl, I'm excited. Girl, it's almost 10 o'clock. We've been on this. Oh Lord, I'm just excited about what's happening. And
I am. I'm truly excited. I'm excited for my audience because no matter how much, and one thing that you're gonna learn about my books is that they are middle age, high school, adult friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Completely adult friendly. Now people may say, Shannon, you curse a lot. I don't know how your book gonna turn out, baby. I'm here to tell you, ain't too many curse words in them books.
Yeah. I gave my book to my friend Kathy, she done passed the book on to somebody else. That person passed the book on.
What, girl? They better give you your book back.
I said, I want Kathy. I need my book back.
Girl, they better give you your book back.
More books though. That's what I'm gonna do. You write this down right now, so I forget. Because we need to get that book. Have you decided to take some of your books to the hospitals? Shannon. I lost you. Well, y'all. Oh,
hey everyone. Yeah. Hey guys. Sorry about that. Don't know what happened, but you know, the devil thought he had me. But yeah, I was trying to click on the link to make sure I spelled the name right because I'm always spelling it, but
thank you, Kenya and Brandy, for joining us on the live line. We appreciate you, ladies. We just chopping it up on the post-interview chat right now. This is Walking in Your Purpose, Thursday night at 8 with Lens of Faith. And we're going to see y'all next Thursday. Make sure y'all tune in. Next Thursday, we got Kathy Smith joining us on the live line. And we're going to get it in. We're going to talk about some very interesting things. And I hope y'all prepared. Bring a notepad next week because we're going to dive in a little deep. I don't want y'all to be prepared, but we're going to get a little deep next week.
Y'all make sure y'all tune in. Make sure that you are ready for what's about to come because it's about to be amazing. Lens of Faith Speaks is about to open up some old wounds that you thought you had that we're about to get rid of because you don't need to have them anymore. Those old wounds need to be healed from. You need to be allowing yourself the opportunity to heal, even if, and understand if you still work for the federal government, if you're still in service, you have direct access to the EAP program, that program, and you have the option to actually heal. You have the option to actually vent to someone, and they give you all of those resources in order for you to survive whatever your career is within the federal government. You can do it. Lens of Faith Speaks is going to help you do it. CEO Gore is going to make sure you do it. Yeah. And I'm gonna be in your inbox to make sure you follow through. So be ready. Be here, be present, because if you're not present, you can't hear this. If you're not present, you can't, understand what's going on. So until next week, we don't want you to feel like you have to lose your life or feel like you need to do bodily harm to yourself. We want you to be here so that you can exert yourself into the spirit of healing, because this right here is going to be an amazing foundation for your healing. And we look forward to it. We truly do.
We do.
I thank you for having me.
I thank you, my sister. Bless you. Bless you. The messenger is in the building.
You're gonna make me cry.
Well, I love y'all. I am gonna jump off of here, and I appreciate you all that joined us on the live line and you all that joined the replay. #replay, and let us know that you were able to catch the post interview as well as the interview. We hope to see you next week. God bless.